All right, Zach Taylor taking over the Cincinnati Bengals job. Finally, someone replaces Marvin Lewis. Zach Taylor, the quarterback at University of Nebraska in 2005 and 2006. Long coaching history. Quarterbacks coach in Miami. Quarterbacks coach in Los Angeles last year. Comes from the McVay lineage.
And the age. He's a young lad.
Yeah, he's what, 36 years old, 35 years old?
He's 30. He'll be 36 in May.
So what are we looking for when you talk about Andy Dalton, assuming he remains the quarterback, A.J. Green's return, Tyler Boyd, and then Joe Mixon and his evolution, his growth as a young fantasy star?
Again, I would lean to the running back as the biggest winner because you've got a guy in Joe Mixon who could catch the ball so well. That was one of his largest strengths coming out of college, who was used a little bit in the passing game, but can be used so much more. Essentially exactly what you saw from Todd Gurley, going from the 40 reception count to the 60 reception count when you brought in a more offensive-minded guy, getting your best player the ball in space. So I think that it's huge news in the positive for Joe Mixon, who's got every chance to be a top 10, top 5 back in fantasy this year.
It'll be interesting to see just how much does he take away from his time with Sean McVay. Because if you look at the Rams, they don't have an alpha number 1 wide receiver. They have an excellent core, and all of those guys are useful. Robert Woods, Cooper Kupp. I mean, these guys are useful for and Brandon Cooks, of course, but for fantasy purposes. None of them are elite-level wide receiver ones like A.J. Green. So for me, it's hopefully solidifying the fact that Tyler Boyd is going to be usable off of his breakout. I'm not calling Boyd a wide receiver 1, but they spread the ball out enough that these other guys, these auxiliary guys, pass catchers for the Bengals, they'll be used more than they have in the past.
Well, maybe that means something good for John Ross. And I think you have two outcomes here in Cincinnati. If there's anything we've learned about that organization is they are willing to be patient. 16 years without a playoff win under Marvin Lewis. Zach Taylor will have time. Now, the question is whether he can transition Andy Dalton into his future. He's only 31 years old. Or whether they're going to, struggle this season, and then you'll look at more of the rebuild, reconfigure. A.J. Green might not be a part of that future. Andy Dalton might not be a part of that future. We'll have to see what happens. Last year, Joe Mixon, one of the more consistent runners over the last 10 games of the season. Zach Taylor, again, can only help, I think, in this situation to have a fresh mind, and Mixon's ability to catch the ball. It bodes well. If you want more of that, click down there, see the whole episode, click over there, subscribe to the show. We're here all year round. Do not miss it.